Asian Traveler wants more, and we're going to give it to you. Welcome back to Plastic Lounge Podcast. Today, we have 3 crazy deep sea stories for you. Some mysterious, some just downright gruesome. I'm here with Messiah.
Yo.
And Rebel's here too.
Let's dive deep into the ocean for today's episode.
Guys, have you ever heard of entire masses of land disappearing?
Like erosion?
The phenomenon is called Phantom Islands, and there's tons of them throughout history. However, the most concrete one is called the island of Bermeja. It's in the Gulf of Mexico, about 100 miles off of the Yucatan Peninsula. Let's go back to 1997. A seasoned fisherman was about to set out on a journey, a couple of his buddies, to the island of Bermeja, where he would frequently fish throughout the years, maybe once or twice a year. It's kind of like a long trek off the coast, so they prepare, they bring a bunch of stuff, and they get out there. Takes them a while, and the island's gone, man. The island that they fished for years and years is no longer there.
How big was the island?
The island was not super huge, but it wasn't tiny. It was a few miles wide, few miles long. The name means reddish orange, or reddish and orange in color. It was named by Alonso de Santa Cruz in the year 1539. So the late 15th century. This guy was a famous Spanish cartographer, and he discovered the island. And in 1540, a year later after he discovered it, he went back and noted down its exact coordinates. And ever since then, for the next 400 or so years, it's been on every single map, the island of Bermeja. There's been countless records of fishermen, governments coming through in the shipping lines and stuff, saying that they fished off of it, or, you know, when you came into like a port or something, you had to report like your inventory and stuff. So countless inventories had recorded fish from the island of like Bermeja and stuff. It was on maps for, like I said, 400 years. So in 1997, the fishermen go out, the island's gone, and they make note of it. They come back and report it, right? This wasn't a super like famous island, I gotta add. Nobody's going out to party or like settle on it. It's like a very remote island. But it was just like a island where people would stop and fish on their way to the Yucatan Peninsula. So in 2008, let's fast forward way in time. The Mexican government and the United States government are in negotiations for the rights of drilling oil in the Gulf of Mexico. Within 200 miles off of any landmass, those islands within the landmass, the 200 miles of the landmass, is owned by that landmass. So Bermeja was only 100 miles off the coast of Mexico. So Mexico technically had the rights to drill oil on this island. And through negotiations, the US was like, what about Bermeja? Mexico's like, no. We're going to go check that out. That's ours. So in 2008, that's what they did. Through the negotiations, they set out a government survey team to go and check out Bermeja to see if we can drill oil. They're like, we might be sitting on a gold mine here. They can't find the island. It's nowhere to be found. So they come back and they tell the government, the island's gone, man. It's not there. We double check, triple check. We got the exact coordinates right here. It's on every single freaking map. So a year later, they prepare a giant expedition with the latest in technology. I'm talking sonar, ultrasound, radar, everything. The University of Mexico is also involved. They all go out there to the exact coordinates of Bermeja, and it's gone. They shoot radar or whatever down to the sea floor to see maybe this thing sank, dude. Maybe global warming rose the sea level so much that it sank the island. Maybe it eroded. Maybe the island was of like a sandy material and it throughout the years just like washed away or something. There's no remnants of the island on the seafloor to even suggest that it was ever there. The island to this day has never been recorded again or seen again. And there has been no explanations as to where it went. There's been some conspiracy theories, but no concrete evidence as to what the hell happened to the island of Bermeja.
I have my theory.
Okay.
The U.S. took it.
So that's actually one of this conspiracy theories, is that the United States, or the CIA rather, blew it up.
That's what I was going to say.
Because Mexico was about to drill it for oil. And during the negotiations, they were like, we might want to blow this fucking island up, I guess. So that's one of the theories. Another theory, and this is kind of left, but it could work, is that back in the 15th century, cartography wasn't just draw on a map. It was an art form, because you can't like just print off a map back then. You have to have like a detailed, talented artist draw it. So some artists did this. They did cartography as like an art form. Some people say that back then, signing your artwork or your map, your cartography, was including like a fake island or something like that. So some people say that Alonso de Santa Cruz created Bermeja as like a signature of his hand-drawn map. And everybody after that just copied the map over and over and over and over again, as if the island never existed. However, that doesn't explain how hundreds of people were recorded throughout history claiming that they've been there or fished off the coast of it.
They were all in on it.
This isn't the first Phantom Island, though. There's been hundreds, well, I should say dozens throughout history, but many of the other Phantom Islands in the world can be traced back to people lying about them, saying they discovered them when they really didn't, for whatever reason, for money or whatever, or like miscalculations. But this is like one of the only ones that's like actually mysterious.
We'll say this couldn't happen today, right? With like Google Earth and shit.
No, yeah, the Phantom Island phenomenon only happens with islands that were previously said to exist, not like ones we actually have physical satellite images of.
Like there isn't like anybody now that's like, yo, found an island back east.
Right.
Can we buy it?
It's not real. I mean, it's not there. So
Is it still for sale though?
I don't think it was ever for sale.
Can we buy it? Because someone owns it.
Mexico owns it.
No, it's gone.
I need to talk to Mexico.
It's gone. It blew up, remember?
Exactly. It's really cheap. Really cheap. It's an investment. It's going to come back. We'll be ready. We'll be the owners of it. Or second proposal, or theory, if you will. What if it's a giant land turtle?
Oh,
Turtle Island.
right. Like it's on the back of a turtle and it was just like, I'm going to move spots.
Exactly.
Or
giant turtle.
It flips upside down, right? Now it's living on the other side of the fucking, like the inside of the earth.
Oh no, those are my my theories.
Rebel, I heard you had something quite graphic for us.
Okay, so I want to give a warning to everyone that's listening and or watching. This is going to get really graphic, so if you're not okay with blood and gore-ish type stuff, I highly recommend skipping ahead to the next story. If you can handle it, prepare yourself. So I'm going to take you all the way back to around the 1960s, okay? We're in Norway. Norway is poor. They don't have any money. They suck. However, in 1963, they bought part of the southern part of the North Sea from England because England's like, yo, we don't want this. This is terrible to keep up. Get rid of it. And then, it's just been kind of sitting there doing its thing for about like 6 years, not really being good investment at all. And then one ship, I believe it was called the Ocean Viking, was sailing across and they were pretty much searching the whole bottom of the floor, trying to see if there's anything to extract out of there. And they found an oil gas pocket in the bottom of the sea. And it turns out it was one of the largest in the world. And so at this point, Norway's just struck a gold mine. They bought part of the sea for super cheap and they just became rich as hell. They're getting billions of trillions of dollars. To give you like some perspective, they were extracting 1.6 million barrels per day of oil. I don't know if you know that, but that's insane. Like that amount is insane. And so Norway's economy just skyrocketed from there. For one of the most important gas pockets that they have, it's located at a place called Frigg. Now Frigg's it's a terrible name. Granted, this is all Norwegian like name stuff, so it's gonna sound a little bit weird.
Okay.
They have this gas pocket that they're like, it's amazing, we need to go get this. And so there's a company called Dolphin Drilling where they extract a bunch of oil, take it from the earth, do all the oil business. I don't know exactly what they do. They put up a little oil rig called Byford Dolphin. And now this rig was a hell of a rig. It was on the sea level to sea floor was about 100 meters. 328 feet for you guys, for all the Americans out there. And now the gas pocket, which is under the ground, it was 6,000 feet. I don't know the meters. It's 6,000 feet. Dude, it's super deep. So you can imagine sea level floor and then a shit ton more after that. So obviously to have a giant rig like this and huge machinery and all this other stuff, you need a team. You need a hell of a team. So there's like hundreds of mechanics, engineers, and then also divers. People to go down there and handle what's inside all the water. And so they had a team of 4 divers and 2 diving tenders, which are like people to help the divers. The diver's job is to go down, repair all the machinery that's like in the water, grinding, drilling. If there's a drill that's up, they're gonna have to go in there and fix it. But as you would assume, being so far down comes with some problems. Being 100 meters down into the sea floor.
Oh, the pressure's got to be crazy.
The pressure is insane down there. Freddie Mercury is just singing away. But
no.
We should say no.
That was the dumbest fucking joke.
But they're out there feeling the pressure down in the deep. So if you don't know anything about diving, can't breathe normal air because it won't go into your body and your body won't take in the air.
Yeah,
because of the pressure.
The air's got to be like mixed, right? With a different gas.
So they use a special blend called Trimix, which has oxygen, helium, and nitrogen. Weirdly enough, when I was doing research for this, turns out they also use it for erectile dysfunction. Don't know why.
Wait, so was everyone diving with fucking fully torqued, dude?
Yeah, they're just fucking just out there. That's what they use to crank it. Anyways, they were not using it for erectile dysfunction. They're actually using it to breathe and be able to live underwater. And so you have to depressurize going up to the top.
Oh, that's right.
If you don't depressurize,
you get like air in your bubble, air bubbles in your blood, right?
That is correct. You get what is called rapid decompression, where the nitrogen, which reminds you, they're breathing it from this trimix. It's got nitrogen, helium, and oxygen in there. The nitrogen dilutes into your bloodstream. And when it's in there, it starts bubbling up and creating these little bubbles inside your bloodstream. And it will give you certain symptoms. So the symptoms are Now, granted, there's a lot more than just these. Fatigue, muscle, joint, and pain. Vertigo, which you don't know which way is up and down. Numbness, paralysis, and death. You could just die from this. So, in order to decompress naturally, it can take up to 24 hours for your body to go back to optimal levels, above sea level levels. And if you know capitalism, that's bad for business, baby, right? You can't just have a worker that can't work for 24 hours. You got to keep them slaving away, dude. So their solution, the US Navy found out that nitrogen levels has a cap inside the human body. It can't go over a certain threshold inside the human body. People can just stay down in there in that pressurized zone as long as they want. They don't have to come out. Now, I don't know if you noticed, there's a huge problem with that, with us being humans and whatnot, where humans have to eat, drink, they have to go poop. All the homies got to poop, dude.
You gotta go poo poo?
We got to go poo poo, all right? Obviously, you can't do that in a huge pressurized underwater cavern. You can't breathe, you can't do anything. So they came up with an idea. That was to have pressurized capsules on land. And they would pretty much have these people living in these capsules for like 6 to 8 months, maybe even longer at this point. And the way they would get these people down and up to the top was in a little system called like a bell. It's like a small capsule that these people would climb into, and it would lower them down into that depth where the pressure was what their body could handle with all the nitrogen in it. Then they would get back up, they would get into the bell, they would send them up to the top of the pressurized capsule up top, they would climb into it, and they were basically living in there. Now, these people, as you can tell, this job is very, very hard. It is insane. It's a lot of work. I need to know from you guys and from the people listening if you would do this.
No.
$14,000 a day.
Yes.
It was a quick change. All right.
I'm in.
$14,000 a day. You're working 6 to 8 months inside this little pressurized capsule. That's hella good money, but so goddamn stressful. So these people were legends. These people were hardcore. However, there was an accident.
Oh no.
There was an accident. Now these divers, let's say their names here. We have Edwin Coward, Roy Lucas, Bjorn Bergerson, great name, and Truls Helvik. Those were the 4 divers. And then we also have the dive tenders, which was William Cramen and Martin Saunders.
Can I ask, what's a dive tender?
Dive tender are so like I said before, these people were in pressurized capsules and everything, so they couldn't operate stuff outside that capsule. So the people on board on the rig outside of that pressurized capsule that was sitting on top, they had to like give them food. They had to
I see.
manage the whole system from the outside, while everyone else on the inside managed it from the inside. So on November 5th, 1983 at 4 a.m., the boys were out there doing their work, coming back from a dive. They're exhausted. It's 4 a.m., dude. They're tired. I would be tired from swimming all day too. They're going into this bell. They're getting shot up into the air, brought up onto like normal land. 2 divers. There were 2 divers that were down there. The 2 divers come up. The bell attaches to the pressurized capsule, and they're allowed to go back into the first chamber of the pressurized capsule. And now I believe they were on different shifts. So 2 were down there. The other 2 are sleeping in a second chamber. I believe it was Coward and Lucas, while Helvik and Bergeson were doing their shift. And so when they get back, they're in the other chamber. They have to close the door for them to detach the bell and allow everything to keep the same pressure. Now, the pressure difference was that they had an atmospheric pressure of 9 inside that chamber. On the outside, it's an atmospheric pressure of 1. So you can tell there's going to be something happening here. So Helvik, for some reason, they don't know why, what they believe was exhaustion from working so much down there, and also a communication error from all the environmental noise on the rig. If you can imagine, it's going to be extremely loud out there. That he didn't seal the door to the diving bell. And so Crammon and Saunders open up the clamp to detach the bell. Then an explosion happened. The blew up.
Oh.
Crammon, outside the dive tender, died immediately from the explosion. All the pressure just destroyed him. Saunders was so severely injured that he was just out. But that's not the worst of it. The worst of it were the 4 divers that were inside this chamber.
The guy's sleeping.
The guy's sleeping. Well, there's 3 of them. 3 of them, 2 of them were sleeping, and then also Bergerson was away from the door and to a different chamber. They died instantly, within seconds. Now let me describe how this happened. All the nitrogen in their blood, like I was saying before, when you hit that different pressure, it's gonna start creating bubbles inside your bloodstream and just kind of throw you off. But this was so extreme and so rapid that in seconds, instantly, their blood started boiling from the inside of their body. It boiled and bursted through their arteries and just shredded their body. If you can imagine, all your blood just shooting out of your arteries and your body, like caking the wall.
That sounds like the worst way to die.
Yeah, the whole walls were caked in their blood. However, it wasn't normal blood because of all the nitrogen in there. It was a fatty material because it turned their blood into this fat material.
Yeah, I was thinking like a slime or something.
It was basically a fatty slime that just caked the entire walls. Their bodies were destroyed and covered in this fatty material. And that was for 3 of them. It gets worse for Helvik. As soon as that door opened and all that pressure change happened, all the pressure from the inside shot out through that little hole. Now the hole was a 2-foot crescent moon shaped type hole, and his body got launched towards it. A lot of force happened, and it was about 25 tons of force onto Helvik on his thoracic cavity. His thoracic cavity opened up a hole, and all his internal organs shot out across the deck. It shot out through the hole, it went flying across the oil rig. And when they looked at it, all they could find, or pretty much all they found in there, was obviously all that fatty material because his blood also boiled. But they found a part of his trachea, a part of his small intestines, and his spinal column still inside there. Bunch of other organs across the rig.
Those dudes got turned into jelly.
They did get turned into jelly. However, it sounds brutal and painful. What they're saying is that it happened so fast that it was pretty much painless for them.
They probably didn't even know.
Yeah, their brain signal didn't even get the signal that shit was going down. It's literally like you're alive 1 second and then gone. You don't even get to realize what's happening.
That's better than agony.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a lot better than agony. However, it is one of the most brutal ways to die.
Yeah, you can't get buried. Like, what do you, I mean, you turn into jelly. What are they going to come scoop your jelly up, dude?
You're just going to put it into a little jar.
Like a Tupperware?
We'll say RIP to those people. That's horrendous, by the way.
It is horrendous. There was a huge lawsuit against the Dolphin Company, as there should be. Hopefully the families are doing well.
Yes.
Hopefully they managed to move on from this incident.
That was like really detailed and horrendous, by the way. So thank you for that.
I wonder if that's ever happened again anywhere in the world.
I would guarantee it, dude. I would guarantee that if you're messing with pressurized systems, oh my God, there's going to be something that goes horribly wrong, no matter where you're at. If anyone out there actually does have a different story, please tell us about it. We'll gladly read the comments and listen.
You got any diving pressurization accident stories? Let us know in the comments.
Even if you're scuba diving and you just had this,
That's a real danger, bro.
if you were scuba diving and have felt the rapid depressurization, rapid depressurization, let us know how it feels. I want to know. I'm curious. I'm never going in the ocean.
The Bends is the
Bends.
street name.
I got the bends, dude. Been out there swimming for a minute, dude.
I feel like I've actually heard that from like movies like Deep Blue Sea and shit or whatever, you know?
Yeah, it's real. The Bends. Well, after I recover from that one, what do you got from us, Messiah?
Well, I could tell you mine's not graphic and horrid like that one was. So welcome back to anybody that skipped over. So I'm going to take you guys on a little journey here, right? So when I'm prepping for this, when I'm looking for stories that intrigue me, I try to find something that's like little mysterious. So we're going to take you to the summer of 2011 in the Baltic Sea. A team of Swedish treasure hunters. What they do is they travel around, scan for shipwrecks, and they go down and they dive and they try to recover different things. Typically they find like high-end wine, old bottles of rum. So they're done. They're done finishing the trip. Mind you, I didn't say the name. They're Ocean X team.
Oh,
That's
Ocean X.
The name. Yeah, Ocean X. Okay. In this specific scenario here that I'm going to talk about, I don't know if he's the full leader of the team here, but his name's Peter Lindbergh. Okay, he's the lead guy of the crew here. So they're going around, they're doing the normal thing, looking for shipwrecks. And as they're going back home, they notice on their sonar that they pick up an oddly shaped figure in the depths as they're going. They're like, what the heck's this? They notice it on the sonar as they're passing by. They stop, but they're not prepared. They're on their way back. They don't have their diving equipment. They're not ready to go down and see what it is. So they look and it's kind of circular shaped. Almost think like when I looked at it personally, think about like the Millennium Falcon a little bit. It kind of looked like a disc shaped. It was kind of like spiked like that. It looked like semi-futuristic, right? But it was a blurry sonar image. So they go, well, that's weird. Let's kind of note this down and let's go back home. And who knows, maybe we come back and check this out. Granted, this is what they do for a living. So they go back to take a look at the image. And about a year later here, they decide to go back and go, all right, we got to go check this out. They noticed that on the image itself, when they were passing by, that they noticed kind of unusual things, I'll say. Different lines and curves and different types of things like that, and they just wanted to go take a further peek. So they go back about a year later here, and they go back to the same spot. I believe it's the Gulf of Bothnia, and it's in the Baltic Sea. Mind you, really cold area. So they go up there. When they go up, mind you, they originally found that sonar image 300 feet below the surface with that sonar. Once they go back, they actually take pictures, things like that. And as they go down, they notice that their equipment starts to fail. All their electronics, all their sonar technology, they're going in and out. They go, this is kind of odd. They kind of sail away. They come back. Stops working again. They go away. All their electronics come back. They come back to the spot again and think, okay, we got to send our divers out. So they send down their divers. And when the divers go down there, they see some wild things. They see an object about 200 feet in diameter, many features resembling ramps, stairways, other type of structures, even some type of dome type thing above the structure that looks like it could be like some sort of like look tower or some sort of cockpit or something like that.
Whoa.
So mind you, this object, they see it kind of on the seabed here, and it's raised about 10, 13 feet up, kind of on the seabed, curved on the sides a little bit, almost like a mushroom type thing. While they're down there, they notice that there's a 980-foot flattened out runway, essentially, just pushed up sand on the seabed, 985 feet, that leads up to where this formation is in the ocean. So once they go down there, they send their rovers down. So mind you, what I said earlier, their electronics went out when they were up kind of in the boat. So when they went down there, they sent like ROVs and just were trying to take like water cameras and stuff like that. So once they went back down there, they ended up realizing, holy crap, there's actually almost like artifacts here. They noticed that the rock formation, it was almost like a rock formation that was there. They noticed that there was perfectly circular holes all across the different parts of this formation. When they were looking around the seabed, they found rectangular blocks that were perfectly cut, that they quoted saying they were like stone monoliths. And then once they started moving the sand in the seabed and finding these artifacts, they even claimed that there was tunnels and underneath kind of like structures that they could quite see.
What?
They couldn't take pictures because when they get close, all the electronics go out.
So it's like a distance thing. Like, if they like get within like a certain distance of this, it shorts out their electronics. Gotcha.
Yeah. So what they end up doing is they take samples of all the material around. They want to take it back. What the heck is this? So mind you, I'm trying to give a semi-abbreviated thing because this goes pretty deep here. We could probably talk about this for 5 hours if we really wanted to.
Bro, I'm just trying to wrap my head around this right now.
So they take this material, this rock-like material that they took from around where this figure was, right? They go back to some Swedish lab. I don't know the exact name of the lab. I apologize. But they essentially say it's almost like a volcanic rock type like material, which they said that there hasn't been a volcano in that area in like, I always fuck up the name. It's like PR Prozatic period or something like that. Someone's gonna flame me in the comments, but
The Prozac era.
Prozac, exactly. So they're saying that there's no way that type of material would be native to that area that they found this. So as of right now, it's a big mystery. They've done a lot of experiments. People have tried to come back. Nobody knows what this is, but Ocean X, I believe, is trying to raise money to go do a full-blown, really detailed exploration of all this.
So it's still there.
It's still there, bro.
But nobody can get close enough. Is that the issue?
It's one of those things where when I'm looking this up, I don't know why Ocean X seems to be the only one, right? You would think that other people see it.
Yeah.
So when they go down there, though, this specific team in this incident that I'm talking about here, when they took it back, there are photos, and we'll throw them up kind of here, that I think have been accrued throughout the time, but I don't think anybody's actually like went down and like, they're claiming that there's tunnels and
that's
like
crazy.
Have, like dug down and actually like scanned.
What if it's Atlantis?
That's what a lot of people have been saying, that this could potentially, because based on the stairways and the ramps and everything like that it seemed like it was like maybe a fallen city. But a lot of people, based on its shape and kind of the dome type compartment from the main body that I was talking about earlier, a lot of people, and especially with the skid trail behind it, a lot of people are thinking it's a UFO that actually crashed and skidded and has been in the ocean for thousands of years.
Dude, it could be, honestly.
So have they heard of film cameras?
I don't think you can. I don't think you can do film cameras underwater, can you?
Unless you get like a case for it, they can just survive the pressure.
Yeah, you're right.
I feel like you could just figure out something to do that with.
Potentially.
There are images of it, aren't there? Aren't there? Isn't there a image of it, or at least the image of the sonar? There's
sonar images, yes. There's not like underwater. We're right next to it. There's been They believe, I think there's like that team Ocean X, when they came back, they actually explained everything what happened. There's interviews with these guys, you know, all this kind of stuff. The Ocean X team, actually, when they came back, they worked with graphic artists and made like a lot of renders of what they deemed
like what they described.
Depiction, yes.
Got you.
So there's a lot of like graphic renders of that experience and them going through in the arches and the ramps and the stairs that I was talking about. They're a pretty prominent team. I mean, when I mentioned Ocean X, you heard, I don't know much about them personally. I haven't heard from them until I researched this, but kind of intriguing to me.
I think Ocean X is, I watch a lot of like the deep sea like streams and stuff whenever they happen. I don't know who they're by, but I've heard like the name Ocean X come up. So I don't know what they do. I've heard the name before. But sign me up, man. I will go. If we're taking members of the public, sign me up. I will go explore this thing. The Abyss, the 80s movie, is like one of my favorite science fiction movies, and I've always wanted to like be in the movie, dude. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Yeah, that's like the plot of The Abyss. These like I forget what they do, like scientists or something. They're deep in the ocean and there's like aliens down there. They discover like this huge ship, just like you described. It's like giant. Spoiler alert, they ended up being friendly aliens.
But that's going to be it for us for today's episode. If you did like it, please make sure you like and subscribe. It makes us happy.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We all stream on Twitch, all three of us. Links will be in the description of every video and in our channel description. But we mess around on Twitch if you guys want to connect with us off YouTube or off Spotify.
And join the Discord.
Yeah, do that. I just updated it. So I see a few of you coming in here. I want to see the whole gang.
There's one guy, Cock Goblin or something. Shout you.
Cock Goblin.
Cock Commander, something like that. Welcome.
Cock Commander 69.
We'll see you next week for another episode of Plastic Lounge. Be safe. We love you.